guys, if you're making this design and you only have a Cricut to work with, I'm going to show you how to get this done and be able to put it on a shirt. Now, first thing I do is upload it, and I change my color tolerance to 100 because I want to make sure that the lines and the circles, everything is perfect. Like, I don't want any snags, and this really helps. I'm going to show you how to do it my way. I'm going to give you some options, and that's how I usually make my videos. There will always be you should have done it this way or that way, but I'm just giving you some examples and explaining as I go, so that way you can know if it doesn't work for you, what you can try differently and different tools that are available for you. All right, once we have it uploaded, I'm going to show you here. We're going to save it as flat graphic. Usually single layer is the best one to cut, but because I need my visual of the colors, I'm going to save it as a print and cut, or like I said, flat graphic. Now, the nice thing about it is that you can turn this one, because it's all already uploaded and the details already taken care of and off. You can change it by going to edit and selecting basic. Now you can have not only your visual, but you have also your cut one. Now, how do we do the different colors? This takes some time and some work, but it's not impossible. It's my favorite tool in here, and it's the last tool that I learned how to use, to be honest with you. And it took me about 5 years to really perfect it. But what you're going to do is, if you notice here, one is print and cut and the other one is already a solid. We're going to go to contour under actions, and you're going to start selecting each color off or letter off based on the color. All you do is click on it, each portion of it, or do the hide all on the left top corner and then select what you want to keep. I realized I was going to do red, and I definitely didn't start with red. So I'm going to change it back to the red, which is the Y, the B, and the T, and then I bring it in. Now it's going to stay where it was sitting. So if you want to cut it that way, that's a way that you won't have to worry about centering. It'll already do it for you. But I know that when I started, my material was very limited and hard to come by. So I needed to save as much material, and I needed to use my scrap. So I'm going to show you in a little bit how to do that. You can do it by letter, and that way you can ensure that you make the most out of your material instead of losing the material in between the gaps of the R and the I, or the I and the W, and so on. So we're going to repeat this process for every letter and every color, and you'll see me working through it. Now, I know DTF is an option. To be honest with you, I did not learn DTF or even know about DTF until a year ago. And I have a great DTF lady. If you need her information, it's dtfhouston.com. Best material I've ever worked with. But if DTF might take a little longer and you need this done sooner, if you don't have more than one design, because her material is gang sheets, so that means you fill that sheet up, with as many designs as you want. You can do it with vinyl in the meantime, and then when you're ready and you're courageous to start working on DTF, watch some of my videos or go to her site. She has some videos as well. Alrighty, here we are. Looks like we're almost done with all the colors. Once you have everything set up, I like to group it. Group it helps you move everything around, resize it without losing the integrity of the images from one to the other. And once you go to make it, it separates it still by color instead of welding it or attaching it all together, making it one solid color. This is why I like that. Now, remember I told you that if you have limited amount, let me go back. Remember how I told you that you can place it one by one because it's already set up in the way that it's going to lay? That's one way, but this is the other way. And this is what I ended up doing the last couple of times that I did a design like this. I welded a duplicate of it. If my shirt was red, I leave it like that. If my shirt was white, I change it to white. If my shirt is blue, if you can spare another part of your vinyl or chunk of vinyl, this would work good. One, because it hides whatever is underneath based on the shirt color, but then you also do have a template to lay your vinyl on top of it. So you would cut one that's whole and then each of them separately. So when you're done with your shirt, all you will see is the top layer, which is each individual color. But I'm like a tracing type of girl. I'm not really good at doing it myself, so this worked for me. The other way that I was telling you about earlier is individually, so you can maximize your material, and that's literally just separating each letter. So what you did with contour, do it again, but separate each letter alone. Now, you may say that, hey, you should slice each letter out. You can do that too. That's not a problem. I did not actually do it in here, but I have videos on slicing. All it is you put a square on top of the B, slice it, a square over the I, you slice it. You can do that. I have stopped doing that as much unless it's just a small little design, only because I've noticed that it does change the sizing a little bit. So that's just my experience, but it's definitely an option. Now, once I have everything separated, which I'm still working on because I was having the hardest time because I forgot to ungroup it. But once I separate it, the nice thing is, like, example on the red ones, the B, Y, the T would sit together in a red mat and then it would stay next to each other. So you would use just a strip versus maybe a whole like rectangle of vinyl. So if you notice here, I hadn't done it yet. I needed to delete a couple of these. And so this is what I was doing here, making sure that I have the T. And if you ever get this message, don't worry. It just means that you're trying to erase too much or everything. You always have to leave at least one item highlighted. Okay, now we go. So if you see, now it's one row versus wasting that spot in between the R and the I or the I and the W. So again, do with what you have while you have it and learn the other options as you go.